Hey everybody, welcome to another YouTube video. Obviously a YouTube video. I've got another time lapse today of an ink drawing, ink and watercolor. This one started off as a sketch in my sketchbook. I knew as soon as I finished the sketch that I would want to transfer it and create it into a finished piece. So it took me months, I think, before I actually finally got around to doing it, but I'm pretty happy with the way that it turned out. I think it sort of kept the same spirit as the sketch. I'm sure if you do art, you know what I mean, that sometimes when you move from doing a sketch into a finished piece, you can sort of kind of lose that, the original spark, the je ne sais quoi of whatever it was that really attracted you to the sketch in the first place. But I think I pretty much held on to that by the time it made it to the end of the piece, so I'm really happy about that. So let's see, I've sketched it with just a standard mechanical pencil. It's on Strathmore watercolor paper, cold press watercolor paper. I've used like a Jimmy rigged sort of light table. The desk that I use is a glass top desk, so in order to transfer it from my sketchbook onto the watercolor paper, I just moved this green cutting mat that I use for everything. I moved it out of the way and I clamped my light onto sort of like the supporting post underneath the desk and shone it upwards. Put my sketchbook over top and open it to the right page, put my watercolor paper on top, and transferred it that way. That's sort of the method I prefer rather than using any sort of transfer paper. It just makes it a little bit of a cleaner sketch. It's not going to mess up the drawing in my sketchbook by doing like a graphite transfer or anything like that. So and it was really just simple lines to transfer this time, so it worked out just fine. So once I had it onto the Strathmore paper, I inked it with my standard One True Love Higgins Black Magic waterproof liquid black ink, and I used what is this? It's a Daler Rowney liner brush. Really long, bristled, fine script brush that I adore using. I think I've gone through like 3 of these brushes. I'm really bad, unfortunately, for I'm careless with my supplies. I leave my brushes in water after I finish a piece or two. I leave them in the water. So I'm trying really hard. So I've gone through a few of these brushes so far. I'm trying really hard to keep this one preserved. Once I wash it and rinse it out, I put the little plastic tubey back on top of the bristles to try and keep them all in nice shape and everything. So hopefully it lasts me a little bit longer than the other ones have. Yes, and then once the ink was dried, I finished it off with my just Reeves watercolor paints. Nothing really special with those, I guess. For the painting, you'll see I kept the painting really light, simple. I didn't want to get too heavy. I didn't do a background for it. I wanted it to be really sort of soft and muted. I really wanted the lines and her eyes to really stand out sharply with this one. And I think I ended up achieving that in the end. So pretty happy with the way that it finally turned out. I love the inking process so much. It's my favorite part of doing every watercolor is just doing the inking of it. I love it so much. Which is why Inktober was so much fun. Can't wait for October to come around again so I can have another excuse to spend all my time just doing Inktober. So I did sort of deviate from the original sketch a little bit. I had left her eyes a little bit more human in the sketch, but decided while I was inking it in that I wanted to fill them in completely black with just like a little bit of like reflective shine on them. I guess no particular reason. I just wanted to give her a little bit more of that kind of wicked edge to it. And then I have done a sort of like a tattoo on her arm I did, it's a Hecate's key, Hecate, goddess of magic and witchcraft, so that's sort of her symbolism, the Hecate's key. So I've got that on her shoulder as well. Yeah, and then for this video I do have to sort of speed up past the inking, which I didn't realize until after that I had included, but because she's got a nipple, oh my gosh, it's a nipple, it's a nipple. So I had to speed up past the inking process because YouTube frowns upon that sort of thing. Obviously humans aren't meant to have nipples, it's unnatural and it's disgusting, so I have to cut that out of there. But I did remember while I was while I was painting it in to not include the shots of her shameful female lady parts, so as not to offend anybody. But the full drawing, including her tatas, is posted on my Instagram. So if you wanted to see the full piece, you can go there and check it out. I have had a video flagged and taken down before because of nudity. I will link that one in the description below. It's an acrylic painting that I did, and it is a bum. There's a bum in it, and that was too shocking for the likes of YouTube, so that one got penalized for that, but I appealed it. It got put back up, so it wasn't a problem. Yeah, that's sort of I've seen a few videos from artists about that topic recently. I know Happy D just did one about nudity in art, and it blows my mind that it's still an issue. I mean, it's literally, there has been, and she made this point as well, there has been nudity in art since art was a thing, since before art was even art, since the time when art was just storytelling and a means of recording history. There has been nudity in art, and it's still such an issue to show a naked form. And I mean, it's not like there are a lot of artists on YouTube trying to post videos of erotic art. It's not like we're painting scenes from pornographies. There's no insertion of anything. Like, come on, it's a nipple. Just relax, guys. But Instagram is a little bit more lax on that. They do allow tasteful nudity when it comes to artistic purposes. I'm not sure really how they judge what's considered tasteful and what's not, but the eye of the beholder and all that, I suppose. Yeah, let's see, what else do I have to say about this one? Not a whole lot, I guess. I don't really have much else. It's pretty straightforward from here. I just, like I said before, I tried to keep the coloring pretty minimal. I added a little bit of like the red tones in her cheeks and nose and lips and that sort of thing. And I use this really, I really love this kind of, I guess it's like a lilac-y kind of gray mauve shade. I used it in her hair, and I used it on her skin, and it's just such a pretty color. I really love using it. So I sort of use that as the basis, kind of like this gray purple. I do need to pay more attention to the lighting sources. It sort of got away from me this time, I think because I wasn't using a reference photo or anything like that. I didn't have a great idea as to, well, I just wasn't really paying attention. I could have if I was paying attention, but I didn't really keep an eye on where the light was coming from, and so the shadows they don't really make a lot of sense to me. So yeah, you live and you learn. I'll keep a better eye on that the next piece that I make. I have already filmed, I think, 3 or 4 other videos. I have like a stash of filmed videos on my computer waiting to be edited, specifically waiting to have the voiceovers done. I don't know why, it's my least favorite part. I don't think anybody from my real life would have guessed that talking for 10 minutes would be the hardest part about creating videos for me. I'm a rambler. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep an eye out for the next one.